Everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is an update for the Shanquella Robinson case.
I mean, she loved people, just loved the friends that she was around.
Shanquella Robinson's father says his daughter's friends are to blame for the 25-year-old's death at a resort in Mexico in late October. Days after her death, a video too disturbing to show went viral, showing a woman beating Robinson, who was naked and not fighting back, while other friends watched and filmed nearby.
My daughter, she suffered, man. The last breath she took, she suffered. And they sit there and watch.
A local police report shows friends called for medical help just after 2 p.m., saying Robinson had, quote, drunk a lot of alcohol. When the doctor arrived and suggested she be taken to a hospital, she told police Robinson's friends refused and insisted on keeping her at the resort. Mr. Robinson says her friends called Shanquella's mother that night to say she was being treated for alcohol poisoning. An autopsy report released days later states Robinson died of a severe spinal cord injury and neck trauma at around 3 p.m.
So I'm going to read some information that was presented on 2 news resources. I'm going to put the links in the description. There is an investigation into the death of Shanquella Robinson, an American tourist. She went to Cabo, Mexico with 6 friends, and Mexico issued an arrest warrant. In order for them to do that, they need to have access to whatever Mexico has. And so that all depends on the Mexican authorities participating.
They attacked her and there was nothing she could do, and all she could say is no. She wasn't a fighter, no way. She has a good heart.
Mexican authorities now saying the prime suspect in the case back in the United States. Femicide, which means they believe Robinson was killed at least in part because of her gender. Mexico is asking the U.S. to extradite the suspect to face charges in Mexico. The Department of Justice will have to evaluate any evidence.
If the U.S. authorities and potentially a U.S. court are not convinced that the Mexicans have a very strong case, then it's very unlikely that she would be extradited.
Now, U.S. prosecutors could choose to prosecute this case themselves, and we know the FBI is investigating. But I spoke to one former U.S. diplomat based here in Mexico who tells me that it really is all about whether the Mexican government will cooperate. Will they turn over their case files? Will they give the FBI the access they need to properly investigate? Those questions remain open at this point. Guys, social.
To continue, she was 25 years old and was killed by an acquaintance, another American woman. Mexican investigators want to prosecute that suspect in Mexico. They believe it was a direct attack, not an accident. Shanquella Robinson traveled with a group of friends whose actions became immediately suspicious. Mexican prosecutors are trying to get an unnamed American woman extradited to Mexico to face charges. A viral video, too violent to show, Shanquella Robinson's friend is wanted for questioning. In this video, Shanquella is naked and she is being attacked. She is not fighting back. Shanquella Robinson is seen being severely beaten while at least 2 people watch or record. Someone filmed Robinson the day before sleeping. Some of those friends told Robinson's family that Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning, but her death certificate later listed cause of death as a spinal cord and neck injury. Robinson's father said if it wasn't for the disturbing video that emerged, including one where she was being brutally attacked, he doesn't believe that the truth would have been found. According to the Daily Beast, the State Attorney General's office for the Baja Sur said the investigation file on Robinson's death was originally opened as a femicide. But if continued investigation determines Robinson's death wasn't motivated by her gender, it will be changed to standard homicide. State criminal investigation agents went to the scene where the initial investigation was carried out under the corresponding protocols. The office said in a Thursday statement to the Daily Beast, experts from the Director of Specialized Services carried out the processing of the premises in search of any indications that should be included within the investigation file. The PGJE will maintain the leadership of the investigation in order to collect more evidence and achieve an accurate clarification with the facts without ruling out any hypothesis. Update as to where the case is, there is one person that the Mexican authorities want to question and extradite. The only question is finding that person and somehow extraditing them. So that seems kind of sticky. Again, my heart goes out to the family. They are very diligently doing everything they can for their daughter, and they are making headway. Shanquella Robinson's face and name is everywhere. This crime will bring light to a lot of things, and as it develops, it's never okay to have any intentions on getting on a plane and meeting up with a group of people and then fighting in a room about what? If someone was jealous of her, that's the thing about being a good person. You don't know that. Sometimes you do know, but sometimes you don't know that there are snakes around and they're waiting and they're watching. One of the links shows Shanquella being recorded as she's sleeping. And so someone amongst the 6 friends valued her enough to look at her while she's sleeping and film it as in some way to remember their trip. And so how it went from her being filmed and her feeling comfortable enough to sleep around them, how did it go from that to her being attacked naked? This shouldn't have happened. It's a trip gone wrong with 6 people. And friends flew back and even had the audacity to go to her parents, her family, to convince them that she died of alcohol poisoning, knowing that she did not die of alcohol poisoning. How could you go to her family and push that lie? I mean, you had no idea that the coroner's report would come out and really show what happened to her. When the doctors tell you to take her to the emergency room, you say no. By the time paramedics get to her or she gets to the hospital after their attempts, she dies. And by you just taking her to the hospital sooner, she could have lived. That's wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.